Hmm?
It's not centering.
What do you mean? Yeah, I know. You have like a swollen face right now.
I literally just woke up.
Welcome to today's podcast. This is Karl and Jamie on Coffee with Karl and Jamie. We are at Hotel Maya in... Careful.
I just got chills.
We're at Hotel Maya in Long Beach, California. We came down here for a video shoot for the city of Long Beach. We did a video for the Winter Wilmore, is what it was called. It's a huge non-profit deal that the city puts on, that Jamie's father actually helps put on as well. So super excited to be a part of that and make something cool and give something back to the community for sure. Today we're going to talk about opportunity, since it just seemed like a good opportune time. See what I did there? Opportune. A good opportune time to do so. Are you going to talk at all? Or are you just tired?
You're just going a mile a minute right now. I'm just waiting for you to breathe.
Oh, I'm awake. Went for a run this morning already, made coffee, went and got you coffee.
I know. I was tired.
Yeah. So we're sitting here in our robes. Hey, careful. You don't want to see my man spreading. I have shorts on, but
Ew,
still.
don't say that.
What? You don't want to see that?
But don't call it that.
That's what it's called, man spreading.
Stop.
Okay.
Nobody wants to hear that.
Nobody wants to hear man spreading?
I think that when it comes to opportunity, there's kind of a dichotomy between things that are like luck and also, like hustling and like working really hard.
Yeah.
And I think and that's actually something that's really interesting to me. And I have that conversation a lot with different people. It's like, what part of opportunity is luck? Like, is there just certain people that good things happen to? Or is it always like putting in hard work and hustling and that's how you kind of make your way?
I feel like more than anything, you create your own luck. Like you have to, like you get an opportunity and you have to jump on it. It's not just something that just happens. Like if the city of Long Beach called me and said to do a video, like that's not just luck. Like that, like I legitimately put in work to have that happen.
Luck, I guess, is a bad word. Not a bad word. It's not like a curse word.
You have to be able to take opportunities, and opportunities they come your way a lot, and you have to be able to call a spade a spade. You have to say, someone offered me something, and this is an opportunity that I could either just completely shun away from,
Yeah.
or go full into it and take it on head first, and that's the mentality you have to have is, okay, you have to be smart about it, because there's a lot of snake oil salesmen out there and people that are going to just like give you false hope. I think you have to you just have to grab those opportunities though. I mean, what's it going to hurt? I mean, you're only alive for so long anyways. What's it going to hurt to take a few chances about opportunities that come your way?
Yeah.
I mean, it's stupid to think that you're never going to be able to do these things.
But at the same time, like I think you also have to put yourself in the position where you're open to opportunity. Like you didn't just, or like any type of job, or I mean, for me at least personally, like I've never had anything handed to me.
Right.
Like and not to be like, oh, I've never had anything handed to me, like, but like there's people that like, there's some things that I'm like, wow, like that seems so easy. Yeah. Like that was so easy for that person, or that's,
but you're
that's
also seeing it from the outside. Like you're not seeing the hard work that they may have put in to go get that job.
Well, who cares about other people? I mean,
right.
You got to think about yourself. So that's not a good example. But what I'm trying to say is that, like you have to put yourself in positions where you're, if you want a certain opportunity, or if you want to grow in a certain field or your craft or whatever it is, like you need to be putting yourself out there and asking those questions or reaching out to people or like seeking those opportunities, because they're not just going to fall into your lap.
No, you're right.
Like you have to put yourself in the position where you're like kind of letting the universe be like, all right, like I'm doing everything I can do. I'm opening myself up to X, Y, and Z. Like, let's see where the cards lay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're going to just spin your circle.
Yeah.
And you're not going to, it's going to be one of those situations where you're like, oh yeah, like I wish I could do this or that. But then, you're not going to get anywhere. You're not going to have those opportunities that you would have if you, weren't reaching out to so-and-so about a job, or, picking up a new hobby because you really enjoy videography, or whatever.
You touched on a good subject there, like reaching out for a job or something like that. I think that you have to kind of make your opportunities too. Like you have to go and really try hard to put yourself in a position that people want to give you opportunities as well.
Yeah.
I mean, if you reach out to, and you can't be afraid of that kind of stuff, you have to reach out to those kind of people and send them, videos or content, or even just a message saying, hey, I do this, maybe we could collaborate down the road or do something, like that. Those are things that you should probably be doing if you want to make an opportunity come to fruition.
There was like a time, it was so funny, like there was like a moment, I forget, when it was kind of when I first started in marketing, and I had realized that the people that were around me, I had thought, these people are no different than me.
Right.
Like, I had put certain executives,
say,
I put certain executives and certain industry leaders and things like up on a pedestal. And I was kind of in a position where I was like, oh, I'm just here learning. Like, I'm just trying to learn and da-da-da-da. And then there was like a moment I was like, you know what? Like, I can be like that. I'm like these people. I'm no different than these people. And then in that moment, like, so many things changed because of my perspective changed.
Right.
And, the conversations then that I was having, I was on the same level with them. And then the projects that I was taking on, I was on the same level with them. And because I believed I was. Yeah. And that, I think that perspective changed all of the different opportunities that I had.
Right.
Because otherwise, if you don't, there's a couple different things, they say like fake it till you make it, or, but I think perspective is a huge shift when you're trying to grow, or you're trying to figure out like your way, or looking for new opportunity. And, if you think small of yourself,
you're going to be small.
You may not.
Yeah. I mean, you really have to have an open mind and think that, the world's the limit. If you could take over the world, there's people.
And I was
out there.
intimidated a lot by like certain executives and like industry leaders and things like that. And I was like, oh, like, like why would they even talk to me?
What's it like being in a room with Sheryl Sandberg?
It's that same mentality. Like it's like you just think you're just like, this woman or this man or whoever it is, like they wake up every morning, they have kids, they go through, they have a different set of good problems to have. Everybody's got their own set of problems, whatever that is. And I say problems loosely. I mean, everybody has.
They put their shoes on 1 foot at a time, just like everybody else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they have this, they have the same wants, needs, and whatever. And so it's just kind of like, well, like. Yeah. Yes, you may be a billionaire, but
and even
but
the conversations,
I also value the same things you do.
But even the conversations and stuff you have with those kinds of people, and I've been witness to that. You on the phone or being around that kind of scenario, it's the same conversations you would have with anybody.
Yeah.
I mean, they're literally normal people, and not just. I mean, we're getting off subject of opportunity a little bit, but that's the cool part is like those kinds of. You can't let that kind of stuff intimidate you from taking an opportunity. I think that's kind of where you're going with this, right?
I mean, this is a huge buzzword, but it's like being fearful of failure.
Right.
And
you have to embrace failure.
Yeah.
Like you have to fail.
Which is so cliche nowadays. I feel like to say, they'd be like, oh, like just fail. Like it's good. And it's like, yeah.
But you should embrace failure because it definitely gives you a sort of humble, it humbles you a little bit and it kind of shows you, okay,
it teaches you, I feel like, a huge experience.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. I mean, it humbles you in a sense that you're able to realize, hey, even if I fail, I'm going to be okay. If I start a new company and I go completely belly up and bankrupt, I'm going to be all right. Like, I'm going to live. Like, tomorrow's going to come. Yeah. And I'm still going to be breathing. And you may not have any money, but, I mean, fuck it.
But you can always make money.
That's right. Money is just it's not a tangible thing anymore. You know, it's just a number.
I know. Are you guys on Bitcoin?
Yeah.
Got that cryptocurrency.
That's right, cryptocurrency.
Which I mean, we should do a whole podcast on that.
I don't even know nothing about it though.
But I know everything about it.
You do?
I read this really great
I read one article and I know all about Bitcoin.
No, I read like a cheat sheet the other day and it was like talking about all the different types of cryptocurrency.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, like I get it. I couldn't explain it to somebody, but I get it. Yeah. Like in my head, I get it.
We should just read that out like in our podcast, just like
yeah,
read it out, and then all of you guys will
share
know.
it. We'll just share it with you guys.
Yeah,
we'll just send a link to it.
There you go.
It was from one of the founders of Bitcoin.
Oh really?
Or no. What's the second one? Not Bitcoin, but
I don't know. There's so many out there now.
Yeah.
I think that has been our podcast on.
I feel like we just barely touched on the subject though.
We did. Well, then keep on going.
Well, no, I don't want to. I like a 10-minute podcast. I think anything beyond 10 or 12 minutes, it's like.
God, but I could listen to podcasts for hours about.
Well, like depending on what you're talking about. I guess it depends on what you're talking about.
Yeah. The moral of the story is I think that you just have to take each opportunity as it comes and kind of evaluate it, see what it kind of will give you in the process, and then go from there. You
know what I hear a lot from like a lot of my friends, and this is maybe another topic for another day, but I feel like it does kind of go hand in hand with opportunity. Like living in this moment, like living in the now, and not looking and not thinking like, okay, like this is what I'm doing now. I'll be happy when. Right. When this opportunity comes along, I'll be happy. Or when I get that job, I'll be happy. Yeah. Or that house. Or that, find that significant other. Or like whatever it is. And because of that, because of not having those opportunities, it's holding them back. Yeah. And they're not happy. That's hard to do though. I mean, that is really hard to do. I mean, I do that from time to time. And then what's hard to do? Not living in the moment? Yeah. I mean, you catch yourself. You look at what you have around you and you think, oh, if I just get to that level, or if I just get to that next thing, or if I just buy that next thing, or do that next thing, that'll make me happy. That'll be that's my next landmark. Yeah. I mean, losing that extra 5 pounds is my landmark, but then you never lose that 5 pounds. Well, not if you're not on Met Pro. Okay, plug. Anyways, it's one of those things like you have to get out of that mindset of the next thing. Yeah. I struggle with that. I struggle with it. No, it is. Sometimes. And you're right. But you have to get out of that mindset. I struggle with that hardcore sometimes where it almost puts me in a depression. Yeah. Like where I'm sitting there and I see, and social media is horrible for that kind of thing, where you're looking through like Instagram or Facebook or something like that and you're just like, wow, these people are all doing something so fucking cool. Or what kills me is like when I look up like a celebrity and I'm like look up like their age and I'm like, damn it. Yeah, but they're my age and they're rolling in like Taylor Swift like bought like a $10 billion mansion in New York and she's like 28 and I'm like. But you have to get out of that mindset that what am I doing with my life? Because that's so dangerous for your mental health. It really is. It is. I mean, you have to get out of that mindset where you're just like. Well, and then you're wasting time at that point. Right. You know what I mean? Like each day that you're like just being complacent in like your head about whatever, waiting until this next opportunity comes around or whatever it is. No, you have to make opportunities happen for yourself. I think that's the moral of the story. Well, you were interrupting me. I'll interrupt you. I had a really good thing I was going to say. Well, then say it. I was just saying each day that you're not like valuing like what's around you and the opportunities you have in front of you is like almost a waste because you're not living your best life and you're not being happy. And what's the point? Like, what's the point of being like, I mean, there's always good things. Like, you want to set goals and you want to like put good things in place to like set you up for good opportunity and success. But at the end of the day, like you have to live your life. Like you have to be happy. You have to find happiness in what you're doing. Absolutely. And actually, that is going to be another topic for another day because that is something huge. What's that topic? Being happy. Yeah. Being happy. Finding happiness because that's huge. I think that's and that is something that I hear a lot. I don't know if it's like this age or just the climate that we live in, but kind of like a lot of like 25 to 28 and I mean I'm sure it's not just generational. I'm sure our parents' generation probably feels the same type of thing, but that seems to be a lot of like a big topic that people struggle with.
Yeah.
Is finding happiness in what they're doing and how, you know, how to be happy like in the moment and not always looking for that next thing.
Yeah. It's awesome.
That was kind of long-winded.
Oh, that was good.
I felt like I was running out of breath. Like,
all right.
Running a podcast marathon over here.
So that's our podcast from our hotel in Long Beach, California. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the podcast. Be sure to check us out on iTunes, Google Play, SoundCloud. That's where this will be. And make sure that if you do like it, to give us a subscription or maybe even a like.
Be sure to catch the podcast every Monday and Thursday. And if there's any topics that you want us to talk about, reach out to us at Jamie Dano
Or Karl Henry.
We're on Instagram,
Facebook,
Twitter,
Snapchat,
Satellite,
radio.
Holla!
Holla!